Hello and welcome once again to an episode of the Coffee with Coaches podcast. Obviously, my guest today is put a smile on my face. We'll get to him in just a second. His name is Joe Siecinski. Joe is co-founder and owner of BrainShare, BrainShare Coach. Influence Digest has recognized Joe as one of the top business and executive coaches in the San Francisco Bay Area. Almost tripped over myself to get that sentence out. As a business mentor, Joe's mission is to help his clients build a successful, stable, profitable, and thriving business that works without them. It's very, very, very neat trick that people would love to learn more about. Joe, we've talked a little bit already. I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Kevin, my honor and privilege. Thank you so much for inviting me and letting me take up some of your time today. It's an honor and privilege to be here.
It's so much fun too.
Yes, it is. And if we get to help some people, life is good. That's what it's all about, getting to help some people.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So let's start with you. Let's start with your superhero origin story. How did you get started in coaching? And even beyond that, what prompted you to start a coaching business?
Well, I'll give you the whole story. So I was born in France, raised in Missouri, grew up in South Korea, and live out in Silicon Valley. So I worked for a little company called Hewlett-Packard for 25 years, and I retired in 2007 to go buy my island and a scuba diving resort. Well, as 2007 ended, 2008 hit, and all my real estate investments went underwater. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do while this kind of recovers? And it took a long, long time. So as I looked around, I said, well, I've got a tremendous amount of experience. So I'm going to go help some businesses. So I started my own consulting business, coaching business, and was failing miserably. I didn't have the process or tools to actually help people. I had the knowledge, but not the systems. And that's when I went and I bought an Action Coach franchise, took that franchise, took all of their process and systems designed for small business, put my HP knowledge on top of that, took my NLP certifications, put on top of that, my executive coaching on top of that, and read all those books behind me to help myself get better, because my coach told me Silicon Valley is one of the most educated places on the planet. And if I'm not better 2 notches ahead of my clients, why would they hire me? So I started reading 2 books a month and wrote 2 books. And now I have a successful practice. 13 years later, it took really a good 3 years to get things going. And a lot of, the big changing factor was me hiring my coach.
You make 2 excellent points that I come across constantly when I'm talking to coaches, is that one, every coach that I know, pretty much every coach I know has a coach.
Yep.
They are practicing what they preach, so to speak. And also every coach has been a lot of times, obviously most coaches, when you're talking to them, they've gone through a significant journey, and they've arrived at a place where they're like, they have the tools, they have the talent, they have the passion, they have the purpose to be a great and successful coach. But what you're seeing isn't the whole journey. It takes months, it takes years, it takes hard work, it takes sweat, it takes paper cuts from all the books you're reading. It takes a whole lot to put all this together. And I feel like those 2 messages I think are really important for people to understand. It's like, it's going to get messy. It's going to be fun. Let's go.
It's messy. There's tools, systems, and processes out there. Leverage them. You're not in this alone. Get a coach, and you want to earn more, learn more.
Ooh, yep.
It's pretty simple.
It is.
When my coach told me, hey, you better, have you read this book and this book and this book and this book? I'm like, no. He goes, well, then why would anybody hire you? I'm like, oh, okay. So
good point.
Yep. So start reading the books, got the education. So one of the keys is not only do I have the practical experience, but the educational experience and the passion, which a lot of coaches out there have the passion, but you need the education and the knowledge base too to really help your clients. And my goal is to help 2,000 businesses every single year.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you do that. Let's talk about let's call it the meat and potatoes of your coaching business. What's the real heart of your BrainShare coaching practice?
It is the ultimate business framework. So building a business is like building a house. You must start with the foundation. And the foundation has 4 cornerstones. Time. This is what my book about, Brain Share, How Business Owners Make More Money, Have More Time. Bestseller on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Get your hard copy today. And it's about modalities and utilizing some NLP techniques to create modalities as you're building the business, because your time allocations are going to need to change. And then your ultimate goal is your second cornerstone. When are you going to sell your business? The only reason to start a business is to sell it, Robert Kiyosaki. So what does that look like? And then standards, consistency in the delivery of your product or service, all about your operations, and your finances. Finances are the easiest part. If you got a calculator, I can teach you that. That's the foundation. And then you get into your sales training, your marketing, your target market, unique selling proposition, guarantee, and then sales training. And then you put your marketing plan together. And then you systemize, save yourself time, energy, and money. Systemizing your marketing, your sales, your operations, everything gets systemized. And then you put your team together, and then you exit or expand. How was that?
That was about as succinct as you can make such a complex process sound. And honestly, I shouldn't say complex. While there are a lot of details, when everything's in proper alignment, when you have your foundation laid, when the house is being built, it's just a simple collection of steps that you need to follow. And I feel like that's what you've laid out for people.
It is simple. It's not easy.
There you go. There you go.
It is simple. It's not easy. And there's all the building blocks. That's why I really moved to this e-learning system, so that I can touch more people and give them all the building blocks that they need to create a business that works without you. Otherwise, it's a job, which is okay if that's what you want, or a hobby if that's what you want. If you love it so much, and it doesn't matter whether you make money, it's a hobby. If you have to be there, it's a job. If it works without you, it's a business.
Ooh, again, very clearly laid out. And I feel like that's a perfect way to describe it. I love that. Speaking of your e-learning setup, I know we talked a little bit before we hit record about everything that's happening in 2022 for you. Let's talk a little bit about that now while we have a chance.
So I've spent the last 13 years building systems, processes, and tools. And so about a year ago, one of my clients actually in the Caribbean said, Joe, why don't you come out here for a couple of weeks? We'll record you and we'll use that for all of our training on the island. And I said, I'd love to do that. And then we had a little thing with COVID where it kind of prevented me from doing that. So what I did is I took all the learning materials, everything that we've done for the last 13 years, and I put it together into a system. And it's taken 6 months to build it, and that's what we've got right now at brainshare.online. And it's really is step by step, bite by bite, everything that you need to know to build a business that works without you.
I love that. And I mean, of course, you have very strong message discipline, as you might call it. And I feel like it's so important because that's something that I don't think a lot of people can properly grasp, because starting a business, it does very much start from a very personal place. You're basically doing everything at the beginning, and you're growing, and you're gathering people who could be members of your team. And as the business grows, it kind of grows sort of with you. But there's that point where, again, that whole notion of a business, your business without you, is so hard for people to grasp. But when they stop to think about it, that's probably their ultimate goal, isn't it?
It should be. Otherwise, building a business is the hardest thing you'll ever do. It is so much easier to go get a job. This is why 87% of businesses never make it past year 2. It's hard. Yep. It's a lot easier to go get a job, and a lot of people go do that, and that's okay if that's what you want. It's your goal, nobody else's. You can change it whenever you want, adjust it whenever you want. It's your goal, nobody else's.
Joe, where can people track you down? Not that you're all that hard to track down, but I want to make sure, because you have a lot to offer, and I want to make sure people know where to find you. Now, obviously, the website that you just cited. Where else do you like to play? Where else do you like to connect? What's your favorite?
I'm on LinkedIn. My YouTube channel is robust, to say the least. I've got over 100 videos out there, learning videos. That's really focused there. My website is brainsharecoach.com. and my LinkedIn is Joe Siecinski, and I also have a Facebook, but my real LinkedIn is probably the easiest. That's where I do a lot of the. Actually, my team does a lot of that. I don't do much anymore in that regard of social media. I create the content and put that together, but I've got 4 VAs and a business development and another coach. So we've really built this so that the goal is by the end of 2022, I don't have to be here.
And
Congruency.
Yeah, practicing what you preach again.
Yeah, to me, congruency is everything. I've seen so many coaches out there that tell people what to do, but they're not doing it themselves. And to me, that's incongruent, and that's not okay. So be congruent, get yourself a coach, find one that you resonate with, and that's going to help you achieve your goals, and then start building the business. Put the roadmap together. It's been done so many times before. Follow the path. You don't have to create it yourself.
I couldn't think of a better note to end on. It's anything else you want to share before we go? I mean, just get this. I feel like you're nailing, you're hitting every point perfectly. I'm motivated. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's my honor and privilege to help. One of the things I say, I will help anybody that asks for help. And that's just giving back to the community. I mean, I sit on I'm on the board of directors for the American Red Cross and the College of Adaptive Arts and lots of other things, because giving back is part of what we have to do, or what I have to do. That's what I have the privilege of doing.
It is a privilege, and it is a joy and a privilege to serve in these ways. It helps. It's pretty fun. Joe, thank you for having a little bit of fun with me today. This has been fantastic.
Kevin, my honor and privilege. It's look forward to seeing you soon.
You will. And to the audience out there, as I wave at you and you can't see me, thank you for being here. We will talk to you soon.